Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome in to, what is this, the third episode of our fair podcast, Console
I,
Command?
I think it is.
It's been, what, 3 years since we last did an episode of this? I've lost track of time in this quasi-quarantine of mine, so it feels like we should have been doing more, but this is just still single digits for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, life happens. We travel. We go through a pandemic. That's
Go
just
through.
how it
We are not
goes.
even halfway through the pandemic. We are going through a pandemic.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, this is episode 3 of Console Command. Welcome in, everyone. I am your host, Alex Thread. I have my trusty co-host here, Hippo Patamus. How's it going, Hippo?
Hey, Alex, it's going well. I'm making it through this, wonderful pandemic that we're talking about. But it's going well. I'm doing all right. How are you doing, man?
I am thoroughly exhausted. I want to say fortune because you see that stat of, 22 million people now filing for unemployment. You want to be thankful that you have a job, but at the same time, sorry, this headache is not letting up. Working the front lines in retail has just been a hellish experience. I'm not even going to beat around the bush on that. It's been a lot more crowded. Thankfully, I haven't had anyone fighting over toilet paper. I haven't had to break up any fights over stuff yet. But yeah, it's been exhausting, but I've still had a few good weeks. It gives you time to reevaluate what's important in life, take some things less seriously, take some things more seriously, and marvel at the fact that people still don't wash their fucking hands after they leave the bathroom. Seriously.
Yeah, dude, that's absolutely gross. I remember at work, this is before all this started. I saw someone come out of one of the stalls and just straight up leave the bathroom. Like, bruh, like you came out of like the potty stall.
Yeah, you were dumping ass.
Yeah, you were probably pooping in there. You got poop hands now, and you're not washing your hands. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, I know Danny. She's been more on it lately now. Not washing hands. I mean, she washes her hands, but more like mindful of like sanitizing things. And I mean, it's gotten me sanitizing things now. Like before, we would go to the supermarket, and I'd be like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Let me just grab this basket.
The poop hands will make you stronger. There's our podcast title. Thank you, Hippo. I appreciate it.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Let me just grab this basket and just lick the handle. It's mine now, and I'm gonna grab all my groceries. Now I'm just like, yeah, let's grab one of our Clorox wipes and just wipe everything down. And hey, but when we get to the car, let's just wipe everything down and use this hand sanitizer. I mean, we may be going overboard, but it's better than going underboard, I guess.
You see, sanitizing doesn't mean claiming everything that you want to use as your own by licking it. It means cleaning it with something that removes the bacteria from the surface. But just in case you weren't aware, Hippo.
Listen, I'm just asserting my dominance over the bacteria.
Okay. Well, go lick some toilet seats and some deodorant at Walmart and see how that goes. Dude, there was someone that I remember seeing a video. It was like, I'm a nasty motherfucker. And then he just licks an entire row of deodorant at Walmart. And then, like, literally a day later, man arrested for a domestic terrorist attack in Walmart.
No, dude, I saw like a TikTok of a guy who was just like, yeah, man, I'm a real badass. And then he like just was in Target, and they've got like just a separate, like kind of like bigger bottles of Gatorade out. He's just going over to each one and opening them and just taking a sip, closing it, putting it back. Like, what is wrong with people?
I'm not gonna take a bottle of Gatorade that has clearly been opened. You can tell.
Yeah, I know, but like, come on, what? I guess it's all for those TikTok views. Maybe we should start a TikTok.
TikTok. I will not sign up for a TikTok. I don't want my. It's TikTok and it's Valorant. Those are the two things I know for sure I don't want to touch right now, because I know that we're in a day and age where data is basically going to be used no matter what you do. There's only so much you can do, which is essentially nothing. But I don't want to install a rootkit on my computer, and I don't want to willingly hand my information over to a firm that is, from what I remember, pretty like just clearly misusing it for some bad stuff. I have to read it in more detail.
So, in the case of Valorant, from what I've read it's not necessarily that they're using the data, but most people are more concerned. Well, they're concerned about that, but people have looked into it. Data's not going to them for like any malicious reasons, at least at this time. And honestly, I like to think of myself as optimistic. I don't think they would use our data for anything like that, but it's just how I like to think about things. But I don't know. I had a point and it escaped me. But I don't think they would use our data for malicious reasons. And at the same time, like look down beside you. You got a Google Home. I mean that bad boy's listening to you constantly. I know
Constantly, even when I'm doing that.
even when you're doing that.
Shit.
But I think more people are more concerned about the rootkit with Valorant and the fact that like if something were to happen, people would have backdoor access to your computer. Well, not
Yeah.
backdoor access, but like that access because it's running on startup.
It's more or less backdoor access.
In my case, I'm not too worried about it, but that's just me. Like I understand people concern and I understand the concern for it. On my end, I'm not as concerned about it. I still need to play Valorant. Want to play Valorant. I still want to play Valorant. I've got some
You
friends
have a
that play.
need for Valorant.
I have a need for speed, my friend. And that speed is getting kills in Valorant or dying in Valorant, honestly, with how I play games.
Yeah, well, I don't plan on playing it anytime soon. Maybe I'll just give up later on when friends are persuading me to jump in. But honestly, Warzone has been scratching that itch pretty nicely for competitive shooty stuff. Oh, and I meant to say this at the beginning. I apologize. We're not really going for like a structured kind of thing here. We're not going to be discussing any specific news for gaming or anything in particular. We're just kind of going with a more casual format today because it's been a while and we want to get our bearings back. So it's just kind of a hangout and chat with Hippo and Alex kind of day. So or Hippo and Alex chat. You're not chatting with us because this is definitely not a live stream. Anyway,
don't chat with us.
Yeah, Warzone. I've been enjoying way more than I thought because when Blackout 4 came out, the whole big thing about that was it has no campaign, it has zombies, it has multiplayer, and it has Blackout was the name of the battle royale mode. And I ended up playing zombies the most because it's a classic game mode. It's really easy to just jump in, get a few rounds, then stop. And I really wanted to like Blackout. I don't know if it was more just the structure of the map, it just didn't feel very cohesive to me. Like it just felt kind of tacked on with the way buildings were set up, or if it was the performance issues that my computer was having, but it just didn't click for me all that much. And I played maybe no more than 20 matches at the most, and then I stopped. Zombies is what I played. But yeah, but with Warzone, it does have two different modes, so maybe it's just the fact that it has plunder that I'm liking it a lot more, or maybe the map just seems better to me. But Warzone's really good, and I say that as a person that will willingly dunk on Call of Duty every year for how many times they release. I mean, it is a bad joke at this point, but at least it's not Fortnite, I guess. I don't know.
So I'm not going to willingly dunk on Call of Duty every year because they keep putting it out. People keep buying it. So I'm not going to dunk on them for that, for making money. It's just what they got to do.
I will totally dunk on Activision. How dare you make money, you big corporation? You're the thing that you are there for. How dare you?
How dare you take advantage of the consumers who want to play this video game? But no, like I've been having a lot of fun with Warzone too. I actually just started playing it with you guys. You guys being you and some of our IRL friends.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed PUBG. But my thing with PUBG was it was so jank. Like I don't want to say jank, but there was a lot of, it was very CPU intensive. So I couldn't even stream it at like a medium settings or anything like that. I was super excited when what you said the previous Call of Duty Battle Royale was called?
Blackout?
Yeah, I was really excited for Blackout, but I never bought it because it seemed like it was really popular for like a week and then everyone stopped playing it.
Yeah.
I was excited to finally have a battle royale that actually ran well that wasn't Fortnite. And I don't have anything against Fortnite. It's just the building aspect of it. I'm old, my reflexes are really slow, having to learn an additional mechanic.
Yeah.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks.
I had the same problem. I mean, it was fun, and you could kind of work around the building a little bit if you were good enough, but at the end of the day, if you can't build a tower in like 0.2 seconds after you start getting shot at, you're not gonna consistently perform well in that game.
Yeah, and with Warzone though, so I started playing Warzone this week with you guys, and I started doing some of the solo battle royals. I mean, it runs perfectly fine on my machine. I mean, it's a little CPU intensive at start, but after that, it runs perfectly. I haven't tried streaming it yet. I'm kind of afraid to do that,
Mm.
but it runs perfectly fine. You get into matches pretty quickly. I feel like it's faster than PUBG, but that might be just coming off of memory. But I feel like it doesn't take as long.
It's also free
Um,
to play. You don't have to own Modern Warfare to play this. So
cor-
it's probably just because it's the new hotness and it's free to play that you're getting in the matches really quickly. But I don't know. Last time I played PUBG, which was about a week or two ago, I was playing with Agri, friend of the channel, and matches were still pretty quick to get into. It's still a popular game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's going to stay that way because it is a free to play game. It is Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty does have that name behind it. Playing the Battle Royale mode, I mean, I'm still god awful, but I've had a lot of fun with it so far. It's, I don't want to say it's less clunky than PUBG, but there's a
It
lot
is
less.
100% less clunky than PUBG. Well, maybe not less clunky. That's not the right way to put it. I would say less realistic because PUBG is, while still very much video gamey and not like Armor. I know that's like the most realistic shooty shoot game there is, but it's definitely a lot more tactical, a lot more realistic than Call of Duty is. It's less arcade, I guess would be a
Yeah,
better way to put it.
I think the phrase I'm trying to look for is there's less for you to manage than there is in PUBG. So I mean, I just grab armor, I grab guns, I grab ammo. I don't have to worry about accidentally picking up some sunglasses or I have a helmet and oops, I got a hat. Oops, I've picked up so many things. I have to go into another menu so I make sure I pick up the right items. So there's less to manage
Yeah,
than PUBG.
well, at
I feel like the
least.
games
Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like the games also move a lot quicker than the PUBG games do as well.
They absolutely do. At least with the plunder, you don't have to worry about scrounging for weapons or managing your inventory or going in and moving attachments back and forth like you would in a game of PUBG. Because with plunder, you have your loadout, which you can change throughout the match, and whatever weapons you have there, you just keep using those, and you don't have to worry about getting them again. You can pick up weapons that you find out on the map, especially if you're just first starting out. You haven't unlocked a bunch of stuff. It might be better in that situation, but at least after you start unlocking some stuff, it's better just to roll with whatever you have because there's also the experience that you get for each weapon. You unlock more attachments, more skins, yada yada yada. Basically, the same ecosystem that Call of Duty has had since I suppose Modern Warfare 1 was when they started adding all this shit. And yeah, I like Plunder a lot more. I played a few matches of the regular Battle Royal mode, and it's fine. It's just I kind of like that aspect of respawning and getting a chance to go back in there. That little bit of tactical action where, do I wait and put the money in a helicopter now? Do I put in what little I have, or like say I've got 200,000? Do I want to use a cash drop balloon and put 150,000 and then save the rest for another time? Like there's more decision making than just shoot the guy.
I'll have you know though,
Mhm.
I'm pretty good at this game. I've
Pretty
played
good.
Plunder. Yeah, no, I'm pretty good. I played Plunder. I've got about a 50% win rate in Plunder,
Really?
honestly. Yes,
Out of
sir.
how
I
many
mean,
matches?
listen, all right, it's okay, it's 2 games,
Two
but
games.
but I won my very first game of Plunder.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. And
Who-
I'm gonna tell you, I had no idea what I was doing. We were playing with some in real life friends. Well, it was me. It was me, Tyson, Joe, and Ted. We were playing. I had no idea what was going on. They point me in the right direction. They tell me to pick up stuff. There are some balloons that pop up. I don't know what's going on. I just hit a button near the balloon. I get money. I put money in the thing. I grab gun. I
Hmm.
shoot at people. I got 1 kill. I got 1 kill in the game.
Yeah, that's another thing that I like about Plunder. You don't have to shoot people to win. There are different types of. I believe they're also in the regular. Again, I haven't played enough of the regular battle royale to say with confidence, but at least in Plunder, there's I believe 3 different types of contracts. There's scavenger. There's a control point where you just hover on a control point for like a minute and a half, and then there's bounty. Bounty, you have to hunt down a specific player that it assigns you to. I already explained control point, and then scavenger, you go to 3 different points, and they're usually no more than 200. I guess meters is the measurement. 200 meters from where you currently are. The really nice thing about, I mean, with those 3 different types of what do they call it, contracts, you got different ways of playing. So if you're really just too scared to fight anyone, you can go for the control points, or you can go for the scavengers. If you want to fight someone, you can. And the nice thing about the bounty contract, if you don't have to kill them. Like me and Joe were playing a game about 2 or 3 days ago. I got a bounty contract, and 2 seconds later, we completed it and got the money because they were fighting someone else, and I guess they lost. So that's one thing I like about them. So yeah, you got different ways to play. You don't always have to be confrontational, but of course, the more money that you pick up, you're going to be marked as a target. You're going to be this big red beacon on the map, like, hey, look at this top earner. Go get him, boys. But
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea how the contracts start. I don't know how we get the contracts. I just know they kept happening, and I went wherever anyone pointed me to.
they're just a little thing you pick up on the map. That's all.
I'm your yes man. You point me in the direction. You tell me to shoot, or you tell me to stay at this place. And brother, I'm there.
Brother.
I don't understand what's going on, but I got a heart of gold, and I'm gonna keep on trying for you.
Yeah, it is a very good time, though. I have enjoyed it a lot. I look forward to playing more of it, and I think that I don't think I like how quick the seasons are going, because they just finished. They're on season 3 now, and this just came out back in January. Is that right? So
Can you explain what the seasons are? I don't understand that.
Do you know how Fortnite does seasons, and each season has its different battle pass?
No.
I'm trying to think of the best way to. Basically, a battle pass has different loot assigned to each tier. Each tier basically being one level. So you've got skins, you've got sprays, you've got weapon skins, you've got weapons. Each one you unlock, you also got just currency for the game. And I think most battle royales that exist, I think even PUBG's doing it now. If you're a battle royale, you're going to be doing this because it's a way of. It's basically a feedback loop, which is kind of strange because Call of Duty already has that feedback loop of the weapons and the experience and the attachments. It feels like just another way to milk money from people, because what you can do, you can spend real money to level up through that battle pass, and it's going to cost you a shit ton of money if you just buy the whole thing, like hundreds of dollars if you want to just buy into it. But I wouldn't do that.
Question: does buying the battle pass, or whatever the Call of Duty battle pass is, does that give you an advantage in game, or
No.
is it just kind of like just cosmetic stuff?
Well, it is just cosmetics. There are different tiers where it's. I don't fully understand the blueprints, because what the blueprint is, it's basically like a weapon that's already been pre-configured with different attachments and a different skin. So you could potentially get a weapon earlier than you're supposed to if your level, like your Call of Duty level, is lower than what your Battle Pass level is. Yeah, you do get access to better weapons. That is right, but that's only if you buy into it. So and honestly, if I remember right, for Battle Pass season 2, they weren't low on the totem pole. They were at least halfway. So it would take a good bit of money if you're just buying into it versus playing the game.
So, me not fully understanding the battle pass, if I bought the battle pass,
Yeah.
would I have an advantage in game? Would it give me? Would I have a better shot of winning a game if that were the case?
Honestly, no. I would still say you need enough skill in the game to be able to win. Like, you do get some really nice weapons in there, but not to the point where buying the tiers is going to help you out that much. That's just me personally. I haven't played enough of it to see all the weapons that you have access to if you buy into it.
Gotcha. I was just trying to see if it was something where it was like a pay to win, because honestly, if it's something where it's cosmetic and it doesn't really help out, I don't really mind companies or like Fortnite, because I know Fortnite has something kind of similar, but like you get additional costumes. It's not like anything where you have like an actual advantage in the game. And I'm totally cool with that. But if it's like, hey, you have a homing rocket launcher that will 100% hit a target right now, then I've got a little bit of an issue with it. But it sounds like it's something where I don't really care if it's something where it's minor, if it's minor upgrades and you get minor assistance. I don't really care about that. I mean, let the company make its money. I don't have to buy into it.
Yeah, it's nice if you want it. And honestly, I did buy the first battle pass only because I had the Call of Duty points available. I don't know if it was from buying Black Ops 4, but I played a few matches with some friends, and then I'm looking through the battle pass and I see, wait a minute, I've got 1,200 COD points. I don't know how, but I figured I just bought into it. It's nice. It's nice to have the cosmetics. I'm not gonna lie about it. I do like having the pretty gun skins or the nice looking calling card. They have animated calling cards now. I'm not entirely against it. It's just as long as the implementation isn't scummy, it's not forced, it's not like it's not overbearing, then it's fine. It's not nice. I'd prefer if they didn't exist, but it is free to play, so it's a good free to play game. I would say it's my favorite battle royale. I've got more time currently in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but if I sat down and didn't bounce from one game to another like I do most of the time, I could see myself dumping a lot of time into this because I used to play some Modern Warfare. I really used to play some back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. Like I remember it might not have been Modern Warfare. I mean, it was what was the first zombie game? Was it Black Ops?
I
No,
think
it
it
was
was World at
War.
War. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
play World at War or Call of Duty 2 or any of that stuff.
Yeah, I played a ton of World at War. I played a ton of did Black Ops did have the zombie maps, right?
Yeah,
But
basically any Treyarch game is gonna have the zombies mode in it.
let's pivot a little bit from Warzone. Let's talk about the previous Call of Duties. I know we're kind of free flowing here, Alex.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of those previous Call of Duties. What are your experiences with those old Call of Duties like?
Um, Honestly, I think the first Call of Duty I ever played was Modern Warfare. I never owned my own copy of that. I just borrowed it from a friend, played through the campaign, and I love that campaign. That is still a solid campaign. I could go back and play it now and still have a good time. Obviously, some things may not have aged as well, but it is very solidly built. And again, dunk on Call of Duty as much as you want. The gameplay is smooth, it's fun, it's fast, it's good. My first multiplayer experience with Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 2, because that was, I remember specifically, it was the year that I got my first HD TV, which is over here. God, that was what, 2010? That sounds about right. 2010, I got that TV. And I already had the 360 before then, but I got the TV, I got Modern Warfare 2, and it sure is only 720p, but jumping from a CRT that I had had since the year 2000 to an HD 720p TV, my mind was just fucking blown. It was really my first jump into online gaming. I had played some stuff before then, but it was the time where I had my Xbox in my room, the internet to get myself online in my room. I didn't have to worry about monopolizing the TV from anyone else, and I, of course, at that point, not to worry about losing the internet connection. It was great, and I probably put at least 200 or so. I know that's chump change to some people, but at least 200 hours into Modern Warfare 2. Prestiged maybe about 3 or 4 times, which in hindsight maybe isn't uh, good compared to the amount of time I put into the game, but it's still that was really where I started to get into it. What about you?
So it was after high school. It was maybe it was during college. When did World at War come out? Because I remember World at War was after Modern
I think
Warfare
it
1,
was
right?
2008.
World at War. Well, I searched World at War and I got a movie. So we'll forget that. We'll say it was 2008. That was after Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I remember after high school, a bunch of us would hang out and we would play a ton of the multiplayer. And I don't think I ever actually prestige. So I know you had kind of an estimate of hours that you played.
Mhm.
I played a lot of online, but I don't think I ever played enough to like prestige. Or I
Mhm.
think I got to the point where I could prestige, but I was like, what's the point?
I
I've
don't
got
want to
all the
lose all my
weapons I need.
weapons.
Yeah, exactly. But then once World at War came out, So we played a ton of World at War. And it wasn't really the multiplayer for the World at War that we played. It was more of the zombie mode.
Yeah.
So it started with that first zombie map where I think it was just that one room where you couldn't really move anywhere.
Mhm.
And then I think, were there additional maps in World at War? Or did those come in Black Ops?
I'm pretty sure each one had multiple maps.
Okay, so it must have been World at War where I bought my first. This is the first time I ever bought DLC, and it was just to get those maps
Hmm.
for zombies. Like it was like get all your multiplayer maps. You can use these for online. I'm like, bruh, I just want the one zombie map. And I remember back in the day, I was like, I would play the heck out of a game that was just the zombie mode. But
Hmm.
then Black Ops came out, and then yep, I remember because Black Ops had a DLC pack where you could download all of the DLC maps from or all the zombie maps from World at War. That one
Hmm.
was a big one for us. But then they started kind of getting more intricate, I guess, more elaborate.
Very intricate. I think it was Black Ops. They had one map. It was the one with George Romero. I'm pretty sure the other ones had it, but from what I
Okay.
watched online, this one had just the most esoteric, ridiculous bullshit to see the real thing, like the real content or real ending of it. You had to go activate this switch and then go into this room halfway across the map and find this teddy bear that's like wedged between these two things that you can barely see unless you're at this very specific angle. I was like, no, I don't want to fuck with all that. Let's just shoot zombies, you know?
Yeah, just give me my box and give me my ray gun and let me just kill zombos and rack up my points and see how far we can get. But then like the map started getting like so wild, and I think it's maybe because we got used to the other maps and we got real comfortable with those maps.
Hmm.
But we started getting maps where we can get out of stage maybe stage or level 8, and I don't, it might have been just how the map layout was because they want you to move in a certain direction and they want you to find these secrets. But dude, like watching how to find these secrets and finding 30-40 minute videos on YouTube on how to do it and seeing what they are, and I'm just like, what's the what's the point in doing that? The story is, no offense zombies, you're really fun, but the story's dumb.
Yeah, I
It's
had
just
zero
really
interest
dumb.
in that. Zero interest. Like it was fun, but did not care enough about that.
I think it all started going downhill when that map with the bus.
That was
Do you
Black
know
Ops 2, I believe.
that was Black Ops 2? Where you would have to go to different areas, and I just like, I don't know if I maybe had grown out of zombies at that point or if zombies got worse,
Mm.
but I started having less fun once those maps came out. There was that one you mentioned, uh, John Romero? You mentioned John Romero.
Not John. I wish it was John Romero.
Who's
George
John Romero?
Romero. John Romero is Doom Guy. George Romero, he's not actually Doom Guy. I mean, there's actually stories about that.
Yeah.
But George Romero, zombie director guy.
Yes, George Romero. I think his map was the one where you were on the moon.
No, that his
That
was when you were on in the icy
in
section.
Yeah, so see, you can tell by just like me going through my brain and oh, there's a map where you're on the moon, by the way, or there's a map where you're like in
Yeah.
Antarctica or some it just it goes all over the place. And at the end of the day, I just wanted to find my random box, get my ray gun, get my LMG, and kill as many zombies as I could. But
Honestly, based on what you're describing here, I think you probably like the Black Ops 4 zombies because the maps that I played there, while they are still pretty big, there's still a lot to see. It's not traveling from one area to another. It's still enough to just run from like from point A to point B. So if you ever see that on sale, I would totally be down to play some zombies with some people if we could do that. I don't think it's cross console play though. That's the only issue, but I'd say it's worth a gander for a cheap price.
hell yeah. I'd be down for some zombies, or any game with zombies. And Alex, did you know that there was a game that came out pretty recently that's got a bunch of zombies in it?
There's by zombies. Do you mean demons?
Aren't the men zombies, or are they like controlled, and are they demons?
I don't really know. I mean, I think in the original game they were called zombie men. Maybe they're called zombie men here. I looked at the lore page for each enemy as I fought them, and then I just filed it away in my brain to never be retrieved again. But yeah, Doom Eternal came out almost literally a month ago, and god damn, that was a hell of a ride. I really enjoyed it, and this part's probably going to be a little bit more one sided because you haven't played it at all, right?
No, I've got some thoughts on it though. But
You
I'll let
got
you
some
continue.
thoughts. Okay. Well, Doom 2016, great fucking game. Loved it. It's a good one. And once Doom Eternal was announced, my hype was palpable. And then it got delayed, and I was very sad. But honestly, I think it being delayed helped out a lot because that extra polish really showed. Because there was some concern when they announced the system requirements for this. And I think when they first announced it, it was this is what you need to run it on Ultra or the thing about the setting above Ultra. And then they like maybe a couple weeks later or even a week later said, okay, here's Ultra, here's High, and here's Minimum. And people calm down. Game came out and played it, and it's really good. Like, I'm sorry, my head is just, it's not quite to the point where it's pounding, but it is, the pain is a little distracting. So what thoughts did you have specifically on it? I'll go more into it in just a second.
So I haven't played it yet. All right. So this is all with me not having played it, but I did watch you stream. I didn't watch the entire stream, but
Hmm.
I've seen bits and pieces of the game. And at first, it seemed super cool. And I'm not gonna go say like, oh, Doom looks stupid. At first, it seemed super, super cool. You're Doom Man. You're ripping and tearing. That's Doom
Hmm.
guy's thing. He rips and he tears. And then eventually, spoilers for Doom. Just heads up. Um, Eventually, you get to an area. I'm gonna try to speak in it vaguely, so I don't really spoil anything. But you get to an area that's part of, I guess, Doom guy's past,
Hmm.
and then a bunch of lore is introduced, or
There is a
more lore.
humongous, like, one chapter is basically just lore dump. One map.
Yeah, there's just a ton of lore, and I know you were super interested in reading it. I don't remember if you read all of it on
I
stream.
eventually stopped reading it because it was just way too much. Like, way too much.
So with me, I'm a very, like, when it comes to games, I'm not, mechanics are important to me, but what's more important to me is the story. But to me, the story has to be told to you in an interesting manner. And it felt like it was a lot of lore for you to read. It wasn't necessarily told to you by anything. I mean, I guess it's gives you the option to skip it, which I totally understand because it's Doom. You run, you shoot, you kill. But if you want to have like this interesting story, tell it to me. Don't just be like, "Here's the thing, read it." I guess if you want to.
I'm of two minds
So,
with this. Sorry, you go ahead and finish.
so when you got to that part and you were reading it, I was just like, "Man, this is no knock on you, but just like
Hmm.
seeing it, it was just like, oh, it's just kind of a snooze fest. Just like there's just so much text. Like if I was playing it, kind of like you, I would like be interested initially, but then I'd just be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna move on because there's just so much stuff. Just tell me this stuff. Don't just have me read it.
It absolutely kills the pace, and I guess this is probably good to get the bad out of the way first, because there isn't very much bad, at least in my mind. Um, there is one map, one chapter where they basically, again, spoilers, tell you the Doom guy from the original games is the Doom Slayer. So from Doom 2016, the Doom Eternal, it is the same original Doom man. And in doing so, they also just give you lore dump after lore dump after lore dump, whereas it like each one is 4 to 5 paragraphs long, just explaining where he ended up after the ending of Doom 64, when he stayed in hell to keep killing demons, and then he went to another realm after that, and then meeting up with I think it was the Night Sentinels, like that race, and training with them after he fought through the Colosseum and proving himself, and then eventually shenanigans with an angel race, the makers, and blah 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 blah. Like it's really cool lore to me, but I agree with you that it could have been presented in a better way. But I think that with all the other work they put into the game, they couldn't have it both ways. The world building in this is absolutely amazing, and I say strictly in the sense of world, just visually, because the visuals in this game, the levels are like top class. There's nothing else that's going to touch this for a while. It is the detail in the levels is amazing. The aesthetics is very 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 well done, but they want the lore, but they can't really do all the other world building and give a story and present it in a way where it's like fed to you as you play through the game. So that's kind of where it fell short. I didn't mind it as much because like, oh, he said the thing, he rip and tear. And in hindsight, it was kind of cringy because there are ways of maybe not delivering those lines in a way that is like, oh, and that voice actor couldn't do it. I'm sorry, but they made Doom Guy talk just a little bit, and it's easy to see why he doesn't really talk much beyond that. But anyway,
How did he say rip and tear? Can you? I don't remember it.
Rip, tear. Like it was just like because it was in the middle of a flashback where he's in the Coliseum. He just finished fighting a bunch of guys, so obviously he's maybe a little overexerted. But yeah, cool at the moment, but then eventually is like, yeah, this is kind of cringy. But I guess that's probably enough for spoilers right now for Doom Eternal. But yeah, the gameplay.
Oh, I was going to ask you, how does that gameplay feel?
The gameplay feels great, and this is interesting because when this game came out, I was pretty much in love with it. It was very difficult at first. The gameplay loop isn't readily obvious as far as what you should be doing, what options you do have. So the game, when it first launched, it was very, like, actually pretty divisive, which was surprising because Doom 2016 was like, everyone loves it. Great game, great fucking game, go buy it, go play it. But then Doom Eternal comes out like, oh wait, what's up with this ammo count? You only have 12, or what was it? I think you started with 16 shotgun shells, and you get to upgrade that later to 24 at the most.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's different because what they do is they give you weapons. They give you 2 mods for each weapon. You get the chainsaw on the first level in the first like 30 seconds. You get the chainsaw because what they want you to do in this game is they want you to use different weapons. In Doom 2016, you could basically fudge your way through and super shotgun everything. Super shotgun was overpowered, or you could use other weapons like the chain gun and just basically mow through the game and not have a difficult time. Here, since the ammo is a bit more limited, you can't just force your way through an encounter. You have to take advantage of weak points on monsters, which is also another new thing. You have to go through like an order of process of elimination. You want to maybe get rid of the Arachnotron first, get rid of his turret first, and then kill him because he's got projectiles that he's launching at you. Or wait, no, there's a Mancubus. Maybe you want to take out his arm cannons first so he's not shooting at you from afar, and then take him down. But don't get too close because he can also spray the ground with fire and fuck you up. Or oh no, wait, now there is a Baron of Hell who's rushing you. Get rid of him before he just fucks your shit up. Oh no, the Marauder, which is another whole another thing, because apparently that's something a lot of people want out of the game entirely. But yeah, there's a process of elimination you'll want to go through in most encounters. Like a priority of targets, I guess you would say. And in that process, since you have a much more limited ammo count, you have to use the chainsaw because whenever you chainsaw an enemy, it gives you ammo. And in 2016, it would basically, you could treat the chainsaw like an oh shit button for anything that you don't want to deal with. Like say there's a Baron of Hell, you don't want to worry about pumping in 8 or 10 shotgun rounds into him, just chainsaw him. Here, the chainsaw does work a little bit differently. You can have up to 3 charges, and you need 3 charges to take down bigger monsters. And there are even some monsters that you can't take down with the chainsaw. So, really, it's more just meant to take out fodder enemies, which are just zombies that kind of wander around aimlessly and don't do a whole lot of damage. I'll fire a few shots here and there, but they don't do much to So they don't present much of a threat to you. They're just there as ammo machines, basically. A fancy, not fancy, but a fleshy ammo machine that you chainsaw to get what you need, which is kind of weird. Like, it's a very gamey thing, and I can't look at this and worry about, oh, this doesn't make much sense. Why is he stuffed with ammo? But it's at the same time, he's kind of like, what?
So
Like, you
let
know,
me ask you. Let me ask you. I know that you said MO is pretty limited. I know you mentioned you have to chainsaw enemies to get ammo.
yeah.
You have to glory kills are
Glory kills are
health,
health,
and
chainsaws,
then
ammo. You have
fire is armor.
yeah, fire is armor, which is the shoulder mounted thing. So there's a whole lot going on. Sorry.
So how does it feel gameplay wise? How does it feel trying to manage all those three different things to manage your resources? How did it feel when you when it was first introduced to like near the end of the game for you?
When you first start the game, it is honestly just a lot because if you don't turn off those tutorials, every couple of minutes there's just a tutorial. Like, now you have the grenade, now you have the flame belch, so now you have this, now you've got another gun. It's just definitely an assault of information. But well, I do wish that it was maybe paced a little bit better. And I don't think the pacing is bad, but just I don't know how they could have paced it better. I just feel like maybe it's a little too breakneck. Once you get to a point to where everything just clicks, like you know when to get armor, you know when to go for ammo, you know what enemies to prioritize before other ones, you know what weapons work best in certain situations. It feels amazing. Like it before this game came out, the game director was saying, yeah, it's going to be really hard to go back to Doom 2016 because we've just basically turned it on its head. He's right. Like, there's just, while it is a lot going on and it is very overwhelming when you first go through it, it is the most rewarding, and I'm not saying this with hyperbole, the most rewarding gameplay in any first-person shooter I've ever played. Like, straight up, once you get the hang of it, and especially if you're playing on higher difficulties, it makes you feel like a fucking badass, like a god king badass when you do it right. Like, you're running around, you know you can scope into the weak points and take that out. You can you can use the meat hook. The meat hook is great. I didn't use it enough in my first playthrough, but on my second one here, it's just great to hook shot over to one enemy, blast him, and then take out a weak point for another one. Oh wait, now there's someone behind you. Let me go ahead and freeze him with my ice grenade, and then while he's frozen, use the flame belch to light them on fire, shoot them to get armor, and it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's amazing. I love it.
So there's a lot of positives with
Yes.
it. And I know we mentioned all the kind of weird lore being a negative. Do you see any other negatives with Doom Eternal?
Battle mode's kind of weak. Like, it's not bad, it's just I feel like they didn't really need, like, it just feels kind of tacked on. Also, it's kind of weird to have a series associated with Doom. It's nice because there are some pretty interesting unlockables. I mean, there's a hipster Archvile skin where he's I think he's wearing suspenders and
He's cute.
He's cute, and he has a cup of coffee with one of his poses. But overall, it just feels kind of weird to have an experience-based, like, tier, like, pass system, which you don't put any money into this to unlock it. It's strictly through gameplay. It's still kind of strange to see. What else?
What about the secrets? What do you think about the secrets?
Dude, the secrets are great. While I don't like that they look like Funko Pops. They look a little better than Funko Pops, but it's still the comparison's there, I think.
The Alex hatred of Funko continues. TM,
yeah,
continue.
But I do like the secrets in the game. They're implemented very well. Honestly, in Doom 2016, I wasn't really all that excited to explore the map like I was initially, but it more felt like you had to do it to get upgrades for your suit. Like you wanted to do it to make things easier for you in the later levels. It felt more like you were going out of your way, but here, well, I don't want to say they're guiding you down a path or forcing you to do anything. It just feels more natural how you find the secrets. Like you're more excited to find them because they have more utility. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to explain. In short, I feel more excited to hunt for secrets in this game, which I got all the secrets after I finished the first playthrough, and I didn't do that for Doom 2016.
One final question for you, Alex. Have you played Doom within Doom yet?
I did play Doom within Doom.
How did it run?
It ran a little weird, especially if you get the chainsaw. Um, it doesn't sound right. I think they fixed that. And I know at one point when you shot the super shotgun in Doom 2, it would make the door sound whenever you reloaded, so that was pretty funny. Which brings me to another point of the game. They have the Fortress of Doom, the hub world, which is, it didn't break up the flow of the gameplay all that much, but it was kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say unnecessary, but it is kind of weird to have a hub world in a Doom game. It was fine, but I feel like it was more just an excuse to have have things to show off for you. Like, oh, here's the Doom guy's PC Master Race setup. Here's his guitar collection. Here's a bunch of, yeah, an excuse for Easter eggs. But I think it was done well enough that it wasn't obnoxious. We'll say that.
Did you get your is that where the sword is kept in the Doom
The
house?
sword? No.
Yeah.
The only weapon that you unlock there is the Unmaker.
Doom 64.
Yeah, the Unmaker, which
Yeah.
is I was a little disappointed. That was actually another low kind of negative for me. I don't know if it was me misunderstanding how to use it, but the way it works, you have 6 levels where there is a what's called a Slayer gate, where you have to find a key. You bring that key back to the gate and you go through an optional combat challenge, which is very difficult. Not impossible, but definitely way more difficult than the rest of that level. To the point where you're even getting enemies introduced 2 or 3 levels ahead of time. Like one of the Slayer gates, you fight 2 tyrants, which is the equivalent of the Cyber Demon in this game, and it looks like the old school Cyber Demon. You get 2 of those in one room, and it was fun. But yeah, you go through 6 of those. You get the 6 what are called Empyrean keys, and by the time you beat the 6th one and you unlock the Unmaker, you're at the point of no return in the campaign. So you're basically going through 2 levels, the penultimate and then the final level, where you fight these spoilers, where you fight the Icon of Sin as the final boss fight. So I don't really feel like they gave you enough time to play with the Unmaker, and it doesn't share ammo with the plasma gun. It shares ammo with the BFG, the what's called Argent Energy. And I didn't really like that because they don't give you a whole lot of Argent Energy to play with, and the BFG takes like I think 3 shots at the most it can fire before you need to refill. There's just not enough ammo organically in the levels for you to use, except for the boss fight against the Icon of Sin. So that was kind of lame, but not like a minor nitpick, I'll say.
So when's the Nightmare difficulty stream?
Well, I might be streaming Ultra Nightmare difficulty tonight, maybe.
Hell yeah, brother!
Ultra Nightmare is the permadeath mode, by the way.
Wait, so like you die and
You got to start over.
That's it.
I actually started one the other day, but I got through the first level, I ended the stream, then off stream I'm thinking, okay, I got an achievement where you have to beat what's called extra life mode, where extra life mode you collect 1-ups, and then once you run out of 1-ups, you die. The achievement is beat extra life mode with 10 lives or more in your stockpile, which it can be done at any difficulty. And already doing my first playthrough on Ultraviolence, I figured hurt me plenty should be fine. I can manage that, just don't be stupid. And when I started that playthrough, I deleted my Ultra Nightmare save file, which isn't big because it was only the first level that I'd beaten. I'm glad. If I had gotten further, that would have been very painful.
So when you say it's permadeath, like if you die, then like your save file is gone, or do you have to start the level over? Wow. So you have to beat the game without dying.
You have to beat the game without dying.
And is it more difficult than Ultraviolence?
Yes. I mean, it's Nightmare, but with permadeath. So Nightmare, you take way more damage from the enemies. I think you do less damage. I don't remember. I know for sure that you take a lot more damage on Nightmare.
Are you a masochist?
Yes.
All right, well, that's fair, I guess.
I mean, I did all of Plutonia experiment pistol starting. I save scum, but still, even save scumming, that's not easy.
I mean, whoo. Well, everyone tune into Alex the Red to see the Ultra Nightmare playthrough.
Ultra Nightmare fail through is probably what it's going to be like. I don't know. I do want to attempt it. I don't know if I'll actually manage to get through it. But yeah, honestly, at the moment, Doom Eternal, at least until I get through Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal is currently my game of the year. If we make it through the rest of the year, I don't know what else is going to top that.
Well, I know a game that topped it already.
What game is that?
It probably came out the same day. It's hosted by, or it's starring Doom Guy herself, Isabel. Animal Crossing: New Horizons.
I was going to make a joke, but I can't. I don't know what else came out on March 20th, so I couldn't say.
320 Blaze It, boy.
So yeah, Animal Crossing came out on March 20th, and I didn't play that until I had finished Doom Eternal. But I think you've probably got a bit more time in Animal Crossing, and I want a bit of a break from talking. So what do you think of Animal Crossing so far, Hippo? This is your first Animal Crossing, right?
Second Animal Crossing. I played the original Animal Crossing on GameCube,
Gotcha.
and things are very different. I what was the one that came out after it? It came out on the DS, right?
It was GameCube, New Leaf, or not New Leaf, sorry.
Wild World?
Wild World, City Folk,
Okay.
New Leaf, New Horizons.
So when Wild World came out, I gave it a shot. Well, I wanted to give it a shot, but here's how I am. Do you remember the original GameCube one where it wasn't just like you could walk, well, you could walk wherever, but it wasn't like the free camera kind of thing. It was grid based. So
Mhm.
like you would go left, grid would move, you would go down, grid would move down,
Yeah.
kind of thing. When Wild World came out, it was you could move wherever, and it wasn't as top down. I guess you could like see the curve of the world, and I was like, that's different. I can't play that.
Yeah, I was the same way. Something about it just did not click with me. And maybe also because of the fact that it was on DS, it just, yeah, I didn't like it.
You know, I think if it weren't for having to stay home, not being able to go out, and if it weren't for the online play with Animal Crossing, I don't think I would have as much time. And honestly, Danny's the one that plays it the most. Our island looks really pretty,
It
and it's
does.
because of Danny. If it were up to me, there'd be. I've got a foosball table outside of my airport with really crappy signs that say, "Hey, play foosball." That's my decorating style. But
Yeah.
Danny's got the flowers going. She's got the town looking nice. We've got our villagers. We've got been visited by KK Slider. It's a lot of so I like it. I think I haven't played Doom Eternal. I think I enjoy this more than I would enjoy Doom Eternal.
Probably. I mean,
But
you are
that's
bad at video
because
games.
yeah, I mean I'm just incredibly casual. Like Doom Eternal is very very intense, and I'm sure it's really fun. But like I like games where I can pick up, play for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, put it down, maybe come back a little bit later, and I don't have that pressure of like finishing things. I know there are some
Yeah.
people that are playing Animal Crossing, and then you can time travel in Animal Crossing. When
Oh,
I say
geez.
time travel, you move your system, you change your system clock, you move forward so you can do more things in your world because there's only so much you can do in a day.
Yeah.
And when you do that, Alex, you destroy your turnips. Hint, hint. Um,
Yeah, 600 turnips down the drain. That was a hard. I mean, I knew. It's just I forgot. So it was definitely a hard lesson learned or relearned.
but like, and you know, people will grind and complete their island or get their island looking super nice, super quick, and that's okay. Like that's a different play style. But for me, like I can just pick up the game, enjoy the game, visit Rudy, be like, "Hey, Rudy, do some pull-ups with me," and he'll be like, "Yeah, cool." Or give Beryl a stupid costume and throw fleas at him. Like you
Mm,
can just do whatever. Like you can just talk to your villagers, make your house pretty, pay off your loan to get your house bigger, get another loan, make your house prettier, go dig up your fossils, find a whole bunch of eggs, find a whole bunch of eggs, find even more eggs. But you can just
yeah.
keep on playing however you want. You can fish, you can farm for more bells. You can just it's like whatever you do. It's just like a little time waster. And I feel like that's why I like it more than I would like Doom.
Hmm.
Um, the one, the big component for me to keep me playing is the online play. And yes, there are problems with the online play.
Oh, what? You
I
don't want
know.
to sit through 5 minutes of dialogue every time you want to play, and have a cutscene every time you go to an island, so anyone on that island stops? It's just so like I swear, Nintendo does so much right, but
They,
they're still catching up to 2007 Microsoft and Sony when it comes to play like online stuff. It's like, come on.
yeah, they do so much right. Online is not one of it, but I've seen a lot of things on like the Animal Crossing subreddit where it's like, hey, let me do these quality of life things where you can go into your little Nook phone, and it would just make the game a lot better if you could visit other people from your Nook phone, or you can skip dialogue things through your Nook phone. Just people making mocks of how to make the game better.
Yeah,
And yeah, I agree that would be a nice little quality of life thing. But honestly, going through the menus, that doesn't bother me really. The real thing that gets me is like I'm visiting Kato's island, or I'm visiting Cole's island, and then Kato comes over, so I got to sit through the cutscene, and then once Kato gets there, oh, Alex wants to come over,
airplane
and
mode,
now I have to go through another
water
cutscene.
landing.
And oh no, Kato had some network connectivity problems, so I got to go through another cutscene because he disconnected. Oh, and also it might kind of put me back at the airport and reset my inventory. That's a thing that could happen too. So yeah, there are some issues online, but honestly, I feel like the positives for playing online are much greater than the negatives. Yeah, it's stupid loading screens that you got to go through, but at the same time, I can just kind of pop over to my friend's island. I can visit their shop. I can just kind of hang out. We can talk on Discord. It's just like another
Hmm.
way of hanging out, and especially with this whole quarantine thing, where I can't really go out to see my friends, and I can't really go out to like the bar or go to other things. It's just nice to like pop in, and I mean, yeah, you could just do it over Zoom or do it over Discord, but it's nice to be able to kind of have that visual where we're hanging out with each other too, as
Yeah,
we have a couple of drinks or as we play together.
I forget. I'm looking it up right now. The Animal Crossing used by a Japanese company in work from home effort. Like instead of fighting against it, some companies are actually using it to to try and integrate their work process into it, which is very interesting. So I think Animal Crossing and Doom probably to a lesser extent because of the longevity of it. But Animal Crossing came out at a perfect time because it's something that you can kind of just spread out over weeks, if not months, chill out, get some fish, get some bugs, donate to your museum, make a little bit more progress on making your island look pretty. It's a nice chill time that I think a lot of people needed right now. And I am playing Animal Crossing a little bit less seriously than I am Doom. Probably because I suck at decorating. I cannot make things look pretty to save my life to the point where I'm ripping off my girlfriend's design a little bit for
Same.
some parts of it. But it's still a series that I've enjoyed more than I've not enjoyed. I do like the fishing. I do like the grind of getting new items, or I do kind of miss running errands. That's one thing I don't think has been in the series for a while, and it sure got repetitive after a while, but I think it was a thing that helped you to interact more with your neighbors slash villagers slash islanders, because in this one it seems like there's less purpose to talking to people unless you just want to give them an item and see if they give you something back.
Well, I don't really think of it as like a purpose we're talking about. I just like interacting with them. Like, I don't know. I guess I've formed an attachment to some of my villagers. Like, I love. I hate. So when we first started, Rudy kind of annoyed me, but he's grown on me, and I love Rudy now. I
Hmm.
love my first two villagers. Like, if
Which one is
anyone moves out,
Rudy?
Rudy's the jock cat. So he's the red cat that loves sports, working out.
He does not.
Um,
That's a jock.
yeah.
He looks so cute and not jock-ish.
Well, yeah, of course.
Anyway.
But they're so Rudy and Deirdre, they were my two original villagers. I love them to death. I don't want them to move out. So if anyone ever moves out, I don't want it to be those two.
Hmm.
Um there I've formed an attachment where I hate barreled. Like it's just fun to like I'm running through it and like it's for my own amusement. I'm just super mean to barreled. I'll hit him with my net. I'll give him stupid clothing. I'll give him a stupid mask. I'll give him a flea, which he took the flea and was very excited about, by the way. It's
You
hanging
can
out in
give
his house under a cup.
fleas? Oh, like you give it to okay. I thought you meant like give him fleas because he is an animal and you infect him, not not giving him the flea as a present.
If I could, I would. Let's be real.
Okay.
But like, and now I found another character that I love, and it's because it's so stupid. Like, I'll talk to him just because he looks so dumb. There's a hippo, and I imagine it's going to be all the other hippos as well. But
Yeah.
we've got a hippo on our island named Rocco, and he's always so grumpy. Like his face, like his eyes are always like down, his brow is always furrowed.
Hmm.
But I gave him some glasses, and the glasses, when you give them the hippos and they're wearing like the glasses,
Does it just
their
go
eyes,
over the top of their head? It doesn't line up.
yeah, well, so their eyes are on their sides of their heads.
Hmm.
So it's actually like sitting on the bridge of his like snout. So
Oh
it's like in
God,
between his two eyes. And he looks so angry
I love it.
because he can't see through his glasses. So naturally I gave him some suspenders too. So now he's wearing like a little pink shirt with suspenders and glasses, and he just looks so angry all the time, and I love it. So like I've just formed like a little bond with my villagers, and I love seeing them, and I love talking to them. Like there's really no reason to. I don't give them the items to get anything back. I give the items because I think it'll look cool in their house,
Yeah.
or I give them the items because I think they'll look cool in it, or I think they'll look hilarious in it.
Or you don't want it and you don't want to have to worry about putting it in storage or getting rid of it. You just give it to them to see what happens.
See, listen, viewers, chat, these are the words of a man who hates his villagers.
I don't hate there's only like one or two villagers that I dislike, and I almost said it's because how they look, but I didn't actually want to say that, but I already just said it. There's this like this thing that looks like a mix between Raichu and Pikachu and some other Pokemon that I can't think of, and it looks like it has this bright lip gloss on. It's just really creepy looking. I think the name is Soleil. Soleil?
Celeste?
No, not Celeste. Celeste is cute, and if anyone harms her, I will crush them. But yeah, it just the villager looks kind of creepy. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, my problem with the villagers is, and the reason I said you just give them stuff to try and get something back. There's not really a whole lot of dialogue. I don't remember when it started, and I probably haven't played enough Animal Crossing to say for sure. But compared to the original games, it doesn't seem like there's much variety to the dialogue. Like they repeat themselves a little bit too much, and they didn't really deviate from their personality as much. And there's also just I don't want to say there's too much positivity, especially right now, but it seems like they dote upon you too much. I don't know if that's been Wild World onward. I don't remember enough about New Leaf, but like they're all super nice. Like there's hardly anyone that's maybe a little bit more snarky or a little bit more mean, or like less variety.
Have you had any interactions between the villagers themselves, like
No,
seeing them talking to each
I
other?
haven't seen
So
it.
so I've seen that, and I love seeing the conversations between the villagers because their personalities kind of either match up well with each other, or they don't get along with each other, and you can see them having like kind of an argument.
Hmm.
And then sometimes the villagers will actually like you'll just see them walking around and they're just kind of mad or grumpy if like their personalities don't match with some of the other villagers.
Mm.
And you'll talk to them and they'll be like, "Man, I can't believe that Deirdre said this. I was telling her about my dream. So she started telling me about her dream, and I
Mm.
don't remember my dream. So I don't know how to make this giant sandwich that I wanted to make anymore."
Is that an
Also,
actual conversation?
yeah, it was barreled. I hate
Oh
him.
my god. Are they at this time, are they like constantly emoting? Because I know in some of the other games they would be like in a constant rage state where you'd see like the steam puffing off of them and the red face.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I haven't seen any interactions like that. I don't know if it's from lack of playing or what, but
It may be. And I mean, it's not like all the time. Like I'll go days before I see it happening, or I'll go days where I don't see them talking to each other, but it does happen.
hmm.
And I know earlier you mentioned the grind about like getting fish and all that kind of stuff. I actually like I don't know, like it's part of like kind of relaxing for me too. So like what I do when I start up, Danielle usually will get the fossils and do the get the fossils, maybe get the tree furniture that's there. And that's cool. I don't mind that. But like so now my grind is I'll talk to all the villagers, just kind of keep them happy or make fun of
Mhm.
them or give them stupid gifts.
Yeah.
And then I'll go
Or
catch
evict them.
bugs. Or do what?
Or evict them.
I wish I could evict
You
Beryl.
can. Just talk to
You can't.
Isabel. What?
Nope, that doesn't. So if you talk to Isabel, what that actually does, it'll kind of either reset their personality back to the default state or
Mm.
reset their costuming back to the default state. That doesn't actually do anything where it evicts them,
How do you
but if
get rid of villagers then? What?
you ignore them,
Oh.
you ignore them for long enough, and then eventually they'll like as you're walking, you'll see them with a thought bubble, and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm thinking about leaving. I think I might try to start anew somewhere
Oh,
else."
I
And then
have
you're
seen
like,
that. Okay.
then you're like, "Get the hell out, Beryl. We don't want you here anymore."
Okay.
But like, I'll do my grind is like I'll talk to my villagers. I'll go catch bugs. Danielle's made like a huge like garden of flowers, picking all the colors and all that. So we've
Mm.
got a ton of the peacock butterflies that show up, a ton of the special moths, all that kind of stuff. So I'll go through that. I'll grab those. I'll sell them. It sounds like, oh, you're just grabbing bugs and selling them. That's boring. I don't know why, but it's just incredibly relaxing.
Mm.
So, like, is there a grind in Animal Crossing? Yeah, but I guess it's not really like a troublesome grind. It's a grind that's just pretty pleasant to go through.
Grind might have been the wrong word. It might just have felt more like a grind recently because we went through that week where it was nothing but Bunny Day stuff. And I don't know why it was skewed so heavily towards eggs being everywhere, but there was just way too many eggs. So I think that was where the bulk of my playtime came from since the game came out. And that's probably just where it felt more of more of a grind to me because in the end it is ultimately more relaxing than it is a grind. But I've just been feeling kind of I don't want to say lost in what to do right now, but I'm just kind of at a point where I already did the KK concert. I've got the terraforming. Now it's I believe the chase is to just get like a higher island rating, and I'm just like I don't really care as much about that because I'm bad at decorating. So just feeling kind of wayward in as far as where to go.
I think that's the issue is like it's like there's no like end goal. It's just kind of like do whatever. And I can see where you're getting kind of like, oh well, what do I do now? I've got the concert. There's not a whole lot left. Like I've technically once you get the concert, you see the credits. I call
Yeah,
that beating the game.
and it's always been
Um,
that way for Animal Crossing. It's been do whatever you want, but I think after a while I just became more mechanics driven, which now that I say this out loud, this is basically more of a mechanics game. So I don't know. There's something about this one isn't clicking as much for me.
I think I saw in chat where it was mentioned that Animal Crossing is a lot like role playing.
Hmm.
And I definitely get that. Like I'm making my own, like I'm making different costumes for myself. So like I've got my wrestling outfit that I'll walk around. And by the way, I've got a room in my house with a wrestling ring and a crowd in the back and
Nice.
the cement floor.
Wait,
And
why do you have a crowd in your back, Hippo? Got to
listen,
shut it down, bro.
listen, we're quarantined, but Animal Crossing isn't quarantined.
What about
They
the
don't,
Animal Crossing crowd?
no social distancing in Animal Crossing. Have you
Okay,
had any of those celebrations?
that's true.
Um, but I mean, just last week, streaming friend, Rose Minotti, Rose Minotti, Illuminati, Rose. He had a brunch where he just kind of invited a whole bunch of people. He set up his island, so you could really only get to like it initially would just kind of guide you to their house. So a path that just led directly to the house where he was having brunch, and we would just kind of like go to the house, and he was serving brunch to us. It was just kind of like
Hmm.
go there, hang out, talk, chill with people, and then mess up his island, which is what I did. Put weeds
Of
everywhere,
course you did.
of course. But I mean, I feel like if you can get into that role play aspect too, that'll definitely help. Because I've seen where people have been like, "Hey, I made all of Japan," or "I've made a
Onett from
carnivore."
Earthbound.
Yeah, Juanette make
Wait,
a
is it
carnivore.
Onett or is it Onett?
It's Juanette, Tucson, Threeville. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go back to
Yeah.
the
Okay.
um, but like if like it's a lot of theming. So like making that carnival, or making a spa, or
Mm.
making a lover's lane. It's just a lot of theming, a lot of role playing. That kind of helps keep it going too.
Yeah, I mean, I am still very much enjoying the game. It's just I've lost my way a bit earlier, and I don't know if it's because of other outside factors have nothing to do with Animal Crossing. But in the end, I still really like it. It's very fun, even if it feels like there's less in it now. I miss having the coffee shop from New Leaf. I miss there was some other stores in the town in New Leaf too that aren't here. But I guess they'll have other content released throughout the year.
Yeah, and remember, we're living in a digital age now where DLC is the norm for a lot of games. So who knows what could be down the line for Animal Crossing? I feel like I saw somewhere. This is just me remembering, so I could be very wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like I remember I saw somewhere where it's expected, nothing set in stone, but like someone being added to the museum above where Blathers sits. So they're like that. There's that stairway that leads
Mm.
to like nothing.
Talking about
There's
Crazy Red.
Yeah, I think it might have been just people theorizing that something could be down the line for that. Something with like the gyroids or something.
Yeah.
That's one thing I miss is the gyroids. They're in the game, but they're only like where you're building like bridges or building incline paths.
I think that's because after the first game, it's like, oh no, that looks like a shaking penis. Let's not have that in our game, please, Nintendo.
Does that look like a shaking penis?
Well, look at the I think in the original game, there was always one outside your house, and the closer you got to your house, the more it would gyrate. And you look at a gyroid, it kind of looks like
It
I
looks
mean,
like a fire hydrant.
I don't know. I don't know if that was the actual reason. There was something about the gyroids where parents were complaining and they were taken out. Well, not taken out,
There's
but
they're spooky ghost men is what they are.
there was something to it. I remember hearing about that on a Did You Know Gaming, but I forget what specifically it was. I think one of the rumors initially was, it looks suggestive. But
I, I don't know. I think they're little cute boys, and I miss having them around.
I like the gyroids too. I'm not saying they're not cute, but that's probably why they were removed. But yeah, that was another thing that was taken out. Crazy Red. I liked having that. Um, I think he came once a week, and you could go in his tent, you could buy art, and there were certain ways of telling which one was fake and which one was real. I think he only had one real one, and the rest were fake. And assuming you've looked at any painting ever, it's usually fairly easy to tell which one was real. There'd be some like maybe some I think googly eyes on something or something upside down, something stupid, and you could then get it appraised and find out if it's fake or not. But he's not here this time. I don't know why.
Well, like I s- like well, I mean, like you said, there could be additional content that comes down the line.
I hope.
Uh, Maybe like if they like trickle it in, people like you, who kind of get that grind done fast and like are kind of at a loss of what to do. You add something later down the line, 2 months from now, and that's something additional to do, or 4 months down the line. Here's another thing for you to kind of keep you coming back to the game.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna focus on getting my house complete for the next bit, just to have something to focus on, and then I'll go from there and hopefully unlock a lot more furniture, a lot more items to decorate with. Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's another thing that's changed. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So like on my side, like I have the money to upgrade my house, but like I just kind of like taking the game at like a really casual pace. So
Hmm.
what I've been doing is I'll buy stonks on Sunday,
You
and
buy turnips and you play at the stalk market.
yeah, I buy my stonks on Sunday, and I'll find someone like between our group of friends. I've got another like a podcast I listen to, and they started a Animal Crossing
Hmm.
Discord. Between all of that, I'm bound to find a good turnip price. So
Yeah.
once I find the good turnip price, I'll sell all of my stonks.
Hmm.
I'll pay off my loan, and then I'll use the rest of the money throughout the week to buy clothes or buy furniture or whatever.
Mhm.
I could pay for my next one right now. I don't want to, because I'll use that what I have left at the end of the week or the start of the new week, I guess. I'll use that to buy more stonks.
Mhm.
You got to keep playing the game, and you'll have infinite money.
Unless you work every Sunday and your girlfriend forgets to check it on your Switch and buy some for you. But I thankfully have
Free.
tomorrow off. I'm not gonna call her out here. That's rude. Yeah, I have tomorrow off, so I'll finally be able to play at the stonk market. Excuse me. Damn it, fuck you. The stalk market again. And get some mad stonks. But yeah, back on the house decorating. Ah, I thought I disabled all of the commands. Damn it. No kimono, no behind kimono. Like I was saying about the decorating here, that's another thing that's an amazing upgrade on this game. Is before you would just have very rigid decorating. Like you place an item down, you can move it, you could push it, but it was kind of cumbersome. It wasn't kind of cumbersome. It was very cumbersome. But in this one, I'm not sure how much it pulls from Happy Home Designer or if it pulls from it at all, because I didn't play that one. Maybe Tori could tell us. But you press down, I believe it's down on the D-pad, and it takes you into this designer mode where you're no longer in control of your character, but you instead have a cursor where you can pick an item and then move it, and it's a lot more granular than before, so it's a lot more fine-tuning that can be done here. And for me, at least, it's got me a lot more excited about decorating my house. Like, I've done more here than I have in any other game, because of that quality of life upgrade. And for me, that one thing by itself is probably a big reason as to why I'm enjoying this one so much. And it would make it very difficult to go back to the older ones, even if some of the older ones had more things in other areas.
Well, on that, Alex, I think we'll leave Animal Crossing with one final positive here, and I'm going to give that to you.
Okay.
You can make your face, your flag,
Mhm.
your guitar,
Yeah.
your bed. You can make your face everything in your town.
I think you could do that before. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, you can, but it's hilarious to see it. Just like
It is.
when
It's
I go
great.
visit your town, I just see
It's nice having just putting your emotes into the game, and it's really easy to do. I don't know how easy it was, but it apparently it's easier now than it ever has been before, which I'm fine for that. All you have to do is go to a website, you upload the file that you want, then you get the QR code. You do have to have the Nintendo Switch app, which some people might not want to put on their phone because of laziness, but it's nice to have that option of scanning stuff in. My only problem with it is it's treated as not your own creation. So even if I made my own emotes or if it's mine, I can't go in and then put it on clothing or other stuff because of it's not my pattern. I didn't go in and do it dot by dot by dot on the tool. But it is great. It is great. I love it. That's Animal Crossing.
that
Fun
is
game.
Animal Crossing.
Uh,
So, Alex, what's the plans for the podcast in the future?
well, the plans for podcast in the future, we are going to try and go bi-weekly going forward. I do want to maybe try and keep it to discussing news as much as we can, not worrying about covering everything, but covering big topics here and there. Um, so I figure bi-weekly until we get into a kind of a groove and have Alex actually upload them on a regular basis. Bi-weekly is going to work the best for us. So that would mean next episode would be on May 2nd, at least if we're doing it every Saturday, which that's another problem. My work schedule is pretty inconsistent, so we'll kind of just deal with that as we go.
So, roughly bi-weekly.
Roughly bi-weekly is what we're shooting for. But yeah, hopefully we'll be back with another one on May 2nd. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about before? Are we done today, or?
I think we covered quite a bit today. You know, we talked about ourselves, we talked about our lives, we talked about this grand old life that we live in, we talked about demons and demon slayers named Isabel. I think we got a good coverage here.
Huh? I agree. And on that note, I think it's going to be time for us to go. I appreciate y'all hanging out here. Hippo, can you please tell me where we can find you at?
Absolutely. You can find me at twitch.tv/hippo_pat_miss. I stream pretty regularly every couple of months and then I stop, and then I stream pretty regularly every couple of months. So let's see what happens next, boys.
Please go give Hippo a follow on those two links provided in the chat if you're watching this live. Like he said, twitch.tv slash hippo_pat_miss. Same for the Twitter username. You can find me at twitch.tv/AlexTheRed. I'm on twitter.com at AlexTheRed with 2 Ds, because some poor soul out there will not give me my 1D. You only need 1D, but got to deal with it that way for now. I will try and get this uploaded at a reasonable time. Unlike the second episode, which actually still has an upload, I'm going to do that too. Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with episode whenever that happens. Thank you guys for listening to episode 3 of Console Command. Y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe. Wash your hands, please, for the love of God. Especially if you're a dumping ass. Wash your fucking hands. Do it, or I will slap the shit out of you.
He will. Bye, guys.
Bye.